I have with me David Pakman. He is a progressive host and executive producer of the nationally syndicated radio and TV program, The David Pakman Show. And I wanted to talk to David Pakman. He is a beta male. David Pakman. He is a beta male. The beta male. David Pakman. He is a beta male. David Pakman. He is a beta male. The beta male.
Can you remind the audience, when you talk about being a beta male and being an alpha male, what are we talking about here?
There are males, most men today, male, they think and act like a woman. They're emotional, they are mentally off, they have no logic. And that's a beta male. They go along with homosexuality.
Whoa, Jesse, we got it. That's a lot.
LGBTQ.
That's a lot. Hold on.
They agree with everything that's raw. Abortion, they think and act just like a woman. A beta male does. But a non-beta male doesn't, because he's a logical thinking. And they're controlled by the darkness of David Pakman. He is a beta male. David Pakman. He is a beta male. The beta male. David Pakman. He is a beta male. David Pakman. He is a beta male. The beta male. David Pakman. He is a beta male. David Pakman. He is a beta male. The beta male. David Pakman. He is a beta male. David Pakman. He is a beta male. The beta male. David, you're not here to communicate. I really appreciate you coming on. I'm going to let you go. It's a waste of time to talk to you. We're not communicating. You're acting like an idiot.
Because you're asking bizarre questions.
You're
and not
acting like an idiot, and you're wasting my time. I appreciate you coming. All right, thank you for coming. Goodbye. Goodbye. Let him know. That's a progressive vote. All men who are progressive, or males who are progressive, are weak people. They are weak people, and why have these people on? It doesn't even make sense. They don't come.
Moment of the sexual experience would ask the young lady, who's your daddy?
This should be remixed. If Officer Akimov is watching, this could be the next remix masterpiece, because just wait till you see what happens here. Oh, Officer Akimov is here. That's beautiful.
Who's your daddy? Who's your daddy? Who's your daddy?
I'm joined today by Pastor James David Manning.
Who's your daddy? Who's your daddy? No, I'm a Christian. Who's your daddy? Who's your daddy? Who's your daddy?
I'm joined today by Pastor James David Manning.
Who's your daddy? Who's your daddy? A long-legged Mac Daddy is the most successful pimp on planet Earth. To reverence the Word of God, to trust it, to preach it, to teach it, loads and loads of money and tons of lies. Loads and loads of money and tons of lies.
What happened in prison that brought you to Jesus? What happened in prison that brought you to Jesus?
George Bush Sr. and George Bush Jr. have been penetrated by at least 100 men in their anus area. 100,000, 200,000 strong. I didn't do it. That's not my problem. So I got down on my knees. I didn't do it, but I was tempted.
Sounds like quite an evening.
Loads and loads of money and tons of lies. Loads and loads of money and tons of lies. Loads and loads of money and tons of lies. loads and loads of money and tons of lies. Let me say something to you about marketing. Starbucks has done the exact same thing that Coca-Cola has done, except they've done it with semen.
That certainly seems to be a story that has been missed.
Gays tend to love each other's semen.
How do you know that it flavors the coffee?
Gays tend to love each other's semen. Gays tend to love each other's semen.
How do you know that it flavors the coffee?
Gays tend to love each other's semen. Loads and loads of money and tons of lies. Loads and loads of money and tons of lies. Loads and loads of money and tons of lies. Loads and loads of money and tons of lies.
Who's your daddy? Who's your daddy? Who's your daddy?
Wow. I almost need to just not even stream because of that. There's no way to top that. That's the new single, not from Officer Akimov, but it's Office Akimov, with a special shout out, the background vocals there from, I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly, Marika. I hope I'm saying that correctly, who is a fan of the show and graciously contributed the background vocals there. That is really something else. That's the same, by the way, Office Akimov, who did the dump song. I'll just do a few seconds just to remind you. We're not going fully into it. I'm here and we're going to talk about the indictment, but really strong. And this is the same Office Akimov who put this one together. If there is anything that needs to be satirized and remixed, it is Trump talking about massive dumps. And by the way, extra points, if you can sample Trump saying massive dumps and me talking about it in a song, please do it.
Dumps. Big massive dumps. Dumps. Big massive dumps. Dumps.
Dumps. Dumps. Dump.
Okay, anyway, so people remember that. I think that this is potentially Grammy material. We saw that last week or the week before, Usher was at the White House. We should try to get word of these two new tracks to Usher. I think it's the type of stuff he may be really, really interested in. So that's what's going on there. What is happening today? Many different things are happening. Number one, we are standing by for a COVID-19 update.
Close friends for small backyard cookouts. But with their
and in
community,
fact, to say we're standing by may be wrong. And it's going on. I don't know if something big happens here, we will cut to it. Maybe Dr. Anthony Fauci will speak and we'll get to some of that stuff. But the big news, the really big news, and we are standing by here, the Trump organization and its CFO have been indicted. This is the first indictment. And here's my main takeaway. If you believe that Alan Weisselberg, the CFO of the Trump organization, was acting completely by himself in this alleged criminality, and Donald Trump didn't know about it, and Don Jr. didn't know about it, and Eric Trump didn't know about it, and Ivanka didn't know about it, you are living in a fantasy world. That is not how these businesses work. Weisselberg is not going to say, hey, let me keep secret, but start doing all of this different stuff. It's just not how it works. So we don't know what is to come. This may be just the beginning, but what we do know is
it's a fraud.
Exactly. There is so much fraud going on here. And maybe we'll even start with some of these articles telling us what it is that is going on. Trump Organization responds to indictment, says it's an attempt to harm a former president. The Trump Organization dismissed an indictment against one of its longtime employees as a political maneuver designed to hurt former President Donald Trump. Predictable. We knew that was exactly what they were going to say. Alan Weisselberg, the company's chief financial officer, surrendered to the Manhattan District Attorney's Office on Wednesday morning, is expected to be arraigned later in the day. That's what we are standing by for right now. And supposedly it was going to happen right around 2 p.m. Eastern. Oh, let's listen, see if they have an update here.
Donald Trump's business dealings, the first criminal charges against his company have been filed and are now just hours away from being revealed in court.
There we go.
Sources briefed on the investigation tell ABC News the charges against the Trump Organization and its longtime chief financial officer, Alan Weisselberg, include tax fraud. Weisselberg has worked for the company since the 1970s. In one of his old books, Trump said of Weisselberg, quote, he did whatever was necessary to protect the bottom line.
Right.
Replacing George this week is my chief financial officer, Alan Weisselberg.
Look at this guy.
And you think George is tough? Wait till you see Alan.
Sources briefed on the investigation say the company and Weisselberg are accused of avoiding taxes on fringe benefits, including cars, school tuition, and rent-free apartments. The charges come after the Manhattan District Attorney obtained Trump's tax returns and other financial records in a battle that went all the way to the Supreme Court. Trump has long insisted he runs a clean company.
Totally
clean.
clean.
The investigation is politically motivated.
The continuation of the greatest and most disgusting witch hunt of all time.
Weisselberg is the most important person in the Trump Organization who is not a member of the Trump family. The big question now is whether prosecutors can get him to testify against Donald Trump.
Right.
Deidre?
Chief Washington correspondent Jonathan Karl, thank you. And a statement released to ABC News on behalf of the CFO, Alan Weisselberg, after he surrendered to authorities this morning in New York, saying Weisselberg intends to plead not guilty and he plans to fight these charges in court. We will have full coverage of the charges as they are expected to be unsealed later this afternoon, right here on ABC News Live.
So that's what we're standing by for.
People are flushing toilets 10 times, 15 times.
We're hoping that supposedly it was going to be in the 2 p.m. Eastern time hour, which is just 19 minutes from now. So we're monitoring multiple outlets as far as this goes. If anybody sees any news that I'm missing about it, please let me know, because I will want to get that feed and get that going. This is why we are here. But let's get back to the response. In a statement, the Trump Organization said Weisselberg was being used as a pawn in Manhattan District Attorney Cyrus Vance's attempts to harm Trump. The district attorney is bringing a criminal prosecution involving employee benefits that neither the IRS nor any other district attorney would ever think of bringing, the statement said. This is not justice. This is politics. We know Vance has been investigating for a long time. Michael Cohen has been saying a lot about it. Michael Cohen said this is just the beginning. And I think I had one other article here. Trump Organization CFO Alan Weisselberg surrenders ahead of expected charges. Alan Weisselberg, the CFO of Trump Org, surrendered to authorities early today to face expected tax-related charges, the first stemming from the Manhattan District Attorney's year-long probe into former President Trump's namesake company. A grand jury handed down an indictment against the company itself. Wednesday evening, sources told CBS News, Weisselberg has come under increasing scrutiny by the Manhattan District Attorney's Office and the New York AG in recent months, given his knowledge. Mary Mulligan, who is Weisselberg's attorney, says he will plead not guilty. The charges, whoa, easy there. Easy there. The charges remain under seal, expected to relate to alleged failure to pay taxes on corporate perks for Trump Organization employees.
It's a fraud.
Like company cars and apartments.
Fraud.
Mr. Trump himself was not expected to be charged, his attorney told Fox News earlier this week. That's probably true.
Fraud.
But we can only wait and see at this point in time, and expecting maybe even within 15 minutes, we will see this afternoon, these charges are going to be unsealed. And again, it does not pass the sniff test that Weisselberg would have been involved in the fraud and Trump wouldn't know and Don Jr. wouldn't know, and Ivanka wouldn't know, and Eric Trump wouldn't know. There's just no way that that is possible whatsoever. Period. Full stop. End of story. Okay, let me get to a few other things here. First of all, we are celebrating the first indictments against the Trump Organization and associates with a very special coupon code, Indictment 21. Now, many of you suggested this coupon code previously. It wasn't the right time. I have been holding back the coupon code. It is now live, Indictment 21. And I do want to say thank you to Jeremy Zimdars for signing up on my website, as well as Daniel Keats, new members 1 and 2 today. Also, before this gets away from me, I want to say thanks to some Twitch subscribers, Darth Bane, Chief Boris, Fiora's Dracula Father, The Winter Crow, Sven Hout, Duck Company, another one from Fiora's Dracula Father, Dr. Strong, Kill TV, Alexander the Grape, MS Unlikely Gamer, Duck Company, Weather Boxer, ODW. Okay, that's 11. Wow, just a lot happening here. Pretty significant dumps happening here.
Dumps.
We're putting us at 13 right off the bat. Okay, as we stand by here for the announcement and the reading of the charges, let me get to a few super chats. Ben Stroud says, wow, he wouldn't fold on Trump. He took the charges for Trump. Wow. Why is everyone scared of Trump? He is no one special, just a common thug con man. Ryan says, SCOTUS just backed Arizona voting restrictions. Is it reasonable to assume proper representation can only happen after SCOTUS reform, and is that likely? I'd have to think about that. I'm not sure about that. Horror Fan says that was as good as classic Stern. Great skit. David Sir, pictures of Biden with DeSantis must go up Trump's patootie a mile. We'll get to that. David, I beg of you to do a reaction to the YouTube video by Dave Rubin clips called Dave Rubin Top Moments of the Second Quarter 2021. Let's take a look at that. Let's see if we can find that. It sounds potentially mimetic, not mimetic. Remember, mimetic.
Everybody.
Whoa. Hold on a second here. Let's take a look at it. Oh, we're muted, though.
How many people we got in Cali? This must be like, is it like 70 million people? How many people we got in Cali?
Yeah, not exactly.
By the way, Qatar, can we confirm this? I believe it's the #2 oil exporter on Earth. But he decided to sell it and make $500 million by selling it to the #2 oil exporter, Qatar, okay? And she used to struggle with imposter syndrome. That seems like a problem to me if you're going to be in the CIA. Double agents, triple agents, quadruple agents, and now you've added in someone with him.
Is this also now a comedy show? You know, I don't know, because I learned last week that, and on the Joe Rogan show, that Steven Crowder does a comedy show.
I've reached out to you through every proper channel. I've tweeted a couple times. We have repeatedly on this show reached out through all the proper channels to her team. We haven't heard back. I've tweeted at her many times. My tweets get way more traffic than any of her tweets do. But otherwise, at this point, after weeks, we also donated $50. I've got the stupid mug. You know, it's just a PR campaign. That's all I think it is. And I would say this, you know, I said last week that I think the Caitlyn Jenner thing is just complete BS. They still have not responded to us. Why don't we follow up again, actually? And it's like, you don't have to do the show, but if you can't even respond, then you're just not serious one way or another. It says, what are your thoughts on Caitlyn Jenner for governor? You know, look, we tried to reach out. They haven't got back to us. By the way, China also, you know, owns a ton of our debt, right? We're in massive debt to China. And at some point when they call in the tab, when they're like, no, guys.
All right. Yeah, I'm kind of bored by it. I mean, it's like, it's all nonsense. I understand that, but all right, good. Anyway, we looked at a few seconds of it. Denver says, stop the drain, steal the swamp. Yeah, exactly right.
People are flushing toilets 10 times, 15 times. Elements of bathrooms. Looking at that very strongly. We're looking very strongly at sinks and showers.
Exactly. Okay. Also, thanks. David, what does the indictment mean? The indictment means that the Trump Organization, as well as its CFO, have been indicted. This is just the first step and potentially much more coming. We're going to find out more about that a little bit, hopefully soon, in the 2 p.m. hour, Eastern, presumably. What are the odds we get a $10,000 electric vehicle credit in a future reconciliation bill? I don't know. Is that even on the table? I didn't know anything about that. David, sir, coming in strongly with the drops, big energy.
And God bless the United States.
Could indictments enrage the Trump base and hurt Democrats? Maybe. Yeah, I mean, anything's possible, but I wouldn't be too worried about it. David, sir, please, my birthday was last week, but I was doing the bridesmaids thing.
Sir, I don't know.
And missed the streams. Can you say Destiny's name? Yeah, of course. The other day, actually, I talked to Stephen Kenneth Destiny Bonnell II. And it was a fine conversation. I do want to say thank you to Jose Fortuna, who just signed up with the coupon code indictment 1021. We are celebrating these first indictments against the Trump org with the coupon code indictment 21. Brian King using the coupon code indictment 21. Also, thanks to Teresa Amons, all of whom just signed up on my website. We've been waiting to deploy this code for years, my friends. Today is the day, and that code is indictment 21. Do I have unban requests? No unban requests today. I am considering in a little bit going through my voicemail with you guys because we've been on vacation. I have 156 voicemails. I have not screened any of them. I could actually show you. People say, David, you're selecting stuff that's particularly bad. The voicemail is just bad. So I might do that. But I do have a couple of other clips I wanted to go through with you guys. Oh, this is good. This is a man from Seekonk is facing federal charges for his alleged involvement in the January 6th Trump riots. And a very strange interview took place. Now, why isn't he wearing a shirt? I am not, nor do I really know anyone who just hangs out with no shirt at home. Now, I know there's a heat wave. Maybe there's no AC and maybe it's as simple as that. But one of the strange things about the program Cops is very often when police arrive at people's houses, they're not wearing a shirt and they don't think to even put one on. So this guy's not wearing a shirt, might just be because it's hot. And here's the conversation.
I'm a documentarian. And, when you guys hear of something, you guys show up as you do now and ask questions or record and see what happens. So I suppose that's what I was doing there.
So there are photos of you reportedly kind of stomping on camera equipment and stuff. Is that you in that picture the FBI is putting out?
I would not like to comment on that at this time.
My instinct is if it's not you, like if someone showed me a picture from Istanbul last week and said, this guy looks a lot like you and he's sexually harassing women on the street. Is that you? I'm not going to say I don't want to comment on that right now. I would say it's not me. That's not me. So it's an unusual answer for sure.
But I'm working everything out with the courts and whatnot, and
it's all being worked out. So that's really, really strange stuff. That's that. Here is Trump at the border with Greg Abbott, and he's still talking about his cognitive test. Check this out.
But he did a test. Did I ace it? Yes, sir. I aced it. And I'd like to see Biden ace it. He won't ace it. He'll get the first two. There's 35 questions. And
I think he's still wrong about the number of questions even. Let me see. Just to be thorough. Montreal Cognitive Assessment. Let me see here. Are there 35? There's it's out of 30. So Trump is still wrong even as to the number of questions.
First two or three are pretty easy. Maybe the animals. They're the animals. Is this a lion, a giraffe? But when he gets to around 20, he's going to have a little hard time. I think he's going to have a hard time with the first few, actually. But so.
Yeah,
And then we fell in love.
He wants that taken. And then later with Hannity, he was still doing this stuff.
Stand back and stand by.
in trouble with these comments.
One, and we aced it. I think I can say that I aced it.
Did he get one? He didn't get one question wrong, did he? 30 out of 30. Yeah. Wow.
So now Hannity rightly says it's 30 questions.
And they did get...
The crowd is cheering that the president passed the dementia screening. Like, that's what the crowd is cheering about. Understand? They're saying, yeah, he passed the dementia screening.
A little more difficult after you got by 15, I would say. But
I heard the first three questions are, is it a giraffe or an elephant, right?
Well, you know, that's what the fake news does. They take the first 2 or 3 questions and they put them in. But let me tell you, they would not get those last 15 right, certainly not the last 10. We're looking very strongly at sinks and showers.
Okay, so here's the actual test. Visuospatial executive begin 1A, 2. Oh, I see. Okay, so I'm guessing it's 1A, 2B, 3C, 4D, 5E. You have to copy the cube, draw a clock showing that it's 10 past 11. Okay. Name a lion. This is a giraffe and this is a dog, right? Did I just get all 3 points? There it is. Memory. Read a list of words like, man, woman, camera, TV. No, face, velvet, church, daisy, red. So you do it once. So somebody would say, sir, please remember face, velvet, church, daisy, red. And you would say, face, velvet, church, daisy, red. And then they would wait 5 minutes and they would say, sir, please give us those questions. And you would say, face, velvet, church, daisy, red. Attention, read a list of digits, 1 digit per second. Subject has to repeat them in the forward order. 2, 1, 8, 5, 4. And then you would say 2, 1, 8, 5, 4. And then they would say, sir or ma'am, repeat in reverse order, 7, 4, 2. And you would say 2, 4, 7. Okay? Read a list of letters. The subject must tap with his hands each time you say A. Oh, I see. So hold on. I could do that with my mallet. Oh, I don't know where it is. So they would say F, B, A, C, M, N, A, etc. Serial 7 subtraction starting at 100. Okay, I'm going to do this with my eyes closed. So you've got 100, 93, 86, 79, 72, 65, 58, 51, 44. It's okay. So you go backwards in that order. Oh, I guess you only need to do 5 of them. Language. Repeat. I only know that John is the one to help today. The cat always hid under the couch when dogs were in the room. Okay. Name the maximum number of words in 1 minute that start with the letter F. You've got to get 11. Okay. Fat, funny, French, finagle. Okay, you guys get it. Similarities between a banana and an orange. Trump wants to know both the oranges and the bananas of the investigation. That's what comes to mind to me. Similarities between train bicycle and watch ruler. Train bicycle, I assume it means things that Republicans hate because it's not a car burning gas. Watch and ruler would be 2 items Trump doesn't use. Those seem to be the similarities to me. Okay, so anyway, so then they're asked again about face, velvet, church, daisy, red, orientation. If they can tell you the day, month, year, place, and city, you get 6 points. All right, so I guess these are the tough ones Trump is talking about towards the end. I don't know. So that's what's going on there. Okay. Trump's still talking about that cognitive test. Let me say a huge thank you to Kimberly Alt, who just signed up with the coupon code indictment21. Folks, if you are just joining us, the Trump organization has indeed been indicted along with its CFO, Alan Weisselberg. We might be minutes from the full charges being announced. There's an arraignment happening supposedly in the 2 p.m. Eastern hour. That's now. And so if you're just joining us, we are celebrating this with the coupon code indictment21. It will discount your membership an ungodly amount at joinpacman.com. I don't even want to tell you how much. I don't want to get indicted. but that's what we are standing by for at this point in time. Any second expected in court, and it will be an arraignment. Okay, so we are standing by. Let's look at a few other super chats that are coming in. Where is this? Oh boy, I can't even find them. Okay, no, I got it. Is Trump a comedian? Search this video and prepare to laugh. Tim Pool Capital Edition remix. I'm not going to do that right now. Your indictment coupon code is almost indictable. Yeah, I know. That's why I'm not even mentioning how big of a discount it is. What is the Trump Organization? That's Trump's business. Does it truly matter when the Republicans will vote for any elephant-branded crook and the jackass Democrats are too incompetent to fight back? Yeah, this could encumber Trump for a long time. This really could. So I think this actually does make a difference. Anytime I see news Trump is in trouble, I think back to any other scandal he got away with and immediately dismiss it. What gives this time? We just have to wait and see. We just have to wait and see. David, tell the viewers that likes don't cause natural catastrophes. Absolutely. Fear not. If you like the stream, you will be fine. There will be no hurricane or anything. Today in Canada, we're remembering the uncovering Indigenous children buried and celebrating Cancel Ka'amada Day. Very powerful. I don't know anything about that, but I appreciate you telling me. Thoughts on C-SPAN ranking Trump fourth worst president behind Franklin Pierce, Andrew Johnson, and James Buchanan. It seems in the ballpark. It seems in the ballpark. People asking if today's criminal charges go to court. Yes, we are standing by right now for the arraignment. We are standing by as we speak for the arraignment. Got married on Saturday, surprisingly and thankfully, little talk of politics, but found two of my husband's relatives that are big fans of yours. Love it. I appreciate that. Is the last question on the test? How many questions are on this test? I didn't see that. Chris says, what are your thoughts on the speed of Democrat judge approvals? It should be faster. It should be faster, for sure. Hi, David. Love the soundboard. Would you consider letting viewers suggest new sound bites? Absolutely. I have a couple of new things that I have some Ben Shapiro stuff. I don't know if this will really be relevant, but I have them.
I'm a sexist for saying that women are more than just, their wet ass P words.
Okay.
Yeah, you effing with some wet ass P word. Bring a bucket and a mop for this wet ass P word. I said certified freak 7 days a week.
So that somebody sent me these.
There's some whores in this house. Hold up.
Yep.
This sounds like there's something that is going on here that is not biologically normal.
I would say so, yeah.
P word is female genitalia. P word is female genitalia.
That's a good one. And then lastly,
wet ass P word. Make that pullout game weak.
There you go. So that's basically it.
Yeah, you effing with some wet ass P word. Bring a bucket and a mop for this wet ass P word.
Mm-hmm. So that's what I have. And then I have a couple Biden things.
Come on, man.
And
will you shut up, man? Listen.
And then just a couple miscellaneous.
Yeah, good. Okay.
And then some Crowder.
Oh no, Sam Cedar.
That's the best.
Sam who?
Right. So that's basically what I have. And then just endless Trump stuff. You've got, I won't play all of them, but.
Big, massive dumps. They call them dumps.
And then we've got a lot of Sir stuff.
Congratulations, sir. You just won the election.
Mr. President, sir. Mr. President, sir. How are you?
Sir, you're on the cover of Time magazine again.
Sir, I think you're doing very well. Sir, I don't know.
Yeah, so anyway, we got a ton of this stuff. People can send them in. Absolutely. No question about it. And then I still have also kind of like these quick shortcuts. Like if we say, oh, sir, how many people are currently subscribed to the new YouTube channel? I can just pull it up and we have an instant live count. 7190. We got that 6,000 and 7,000. Whoa, there we go. A little bit of a drop in. If we say, oh, what did I put on Instagram lately? We can pull that up with one click. So a lot of these things are just to make things easier for me. Yeah. I don't know how many people saw, by the way. Oh God, I just got blocked from my own Instagram. All right. We'll forget that. We'll close that out for now. But, So yeah, it's all working really well. It's all working really well, I think, is the message. Okay, we just received a huge dump of new memberships here. I want to say thank you to Jamie Clark signing up with the coupon code indictment 21, participating in the celebration of the indictments today. Ruth Costley signing up with the code indictment 21. Billy Stockbridge has signed up, as well as Raoul Van Heerden. That's 4. Big thank you to Brian Mape using the coupon code, and Louis Labrie. Coupon code is indictment 21. Also, Kim Lewis and Cigar Chavan signing up with the coupon code indictment 21, putting us at 25. Also, in all seriousness, thanks to people supporting on Twitch, D. Granitz, Frunky Kurt, KM Kleslu, Symbolic Gamer, Light Chaser, Ben Lewitt, Sumi Long, Cheerios and OJ, as well as Darth Bane and Chief Boris, all signing up to support with those Twitch subs. We may be moments away from the arraignment of the Trump Organization and Trump CFO, Alan Weisselberg. Let's listen and see what's happening.
He would be indicted.
In the meantime, I'm going to see if I can get a CNN feed going as well for when this happens.
He refused to cooperate. Now is the time for the district attorney to more or less call his bluff and say, fine, you're not going to cooperate. We're going to indict you. But I do have the sense that this is a first step on what's going to be a much longer campaign in the months to come.
Let's see if we can get a live CNN feed as well.
It better be the let's pull on a thread and see what we can get, or else.
Okay. Oh, wow. We're standing by at Trump Tower. Wow.
Stand by.
I will.
For the next couple of hours as we await word here. Thank you.
So actually, let me get signed in here just so we don't then lose the feed. Let's see. What is my, I don't even know my username here. See if I can get signed in. Beautiful.
Still ahead, I will have a live one-on-one interview with Donald Trump's former personal attorney, Michael Cohen, on what he thinks this means for the former president and his...
Okay, good. So we are standing... It seems like it could be any moment now that this could happen, and we will see the full charges read out, and I imagine it's going to be explosive. Okay, let me do a few more super chats while we wait, and then we're going to get to some voicemails. We have it's just packed with voicemails because of the vacation. Correction, Canada Day, autocorrect fault. David, you should search Laser Eye Sam Cedar versus Crowder on YouTube. Yeah, I don't want to just be searching random videos for the whole stream, but my 86-year-old mom just did a memory test in the UK. She identified 10 animals and objects and their relationships. She did fail to say a kangaroo was a marsupial. That should be required. Genus, family, it should all be required, yeah. David, being mixed and Asian American, I am fundamentally opposed to identity politics, but not reductively. Well said. That's Pim. Hi, David. Love you, my brother. Thank you. David, in the last few weeks, over 900 unmarked graves of First Nations children have been uncovered at sites of former residential schools in Canada. Wow. That is horrifying. S. Prez drops in a brutal $100 super chat and says, is my super chat tax deductible? It is not. It is not. Always check with your accountant. That is not certainly financial advice. Raul says, signed up. Cheers from the Netherlands. Thanks, Raul. Appreciate that. Johnny Minogue says, David, thought you were on vacation. Glad to see you. Hope you're not missing out on R&R. No, I've been gone the last 6 days, and I'm back, and I'm heading out again tonight for the long weekend. And the next podcast actually won't be till Tuesday. But I'm just streaming. This seemed worthy. Kind of just had an off day in between trips. So I'm back. Phil says, how do you debunk the Democrat versus Republican state cities argument by the right? Perfect. I will tell you exactly how to debunk it. Let's pull it up because I've done it. Let's see if I can find it. David Pakman, Democrat cities crime, maybe? Yep, here it is. Hey, Dave. Okay, here we go. I'm going to run this on 1.5x speed. Here is how I would debunk it. Most dangerous cities run by Democrats. So this is a pretty old trope, and maybe we can kind of address this piece by piece. Donald Trump and Republicans have been harping on this a lot. Democrat-run cities are riddled with violence, so vote for me instead of Joe Biden, even though, of course, Trump is already president, and there's still violence in those cities. So there's a few things you have to understand. Most cities are run by Democrats, period. So violent cities are run by Democrats and non-violent cities are run by Democrats, to use crass terminology. Additionally, the violence is disproportionately in urban areas. So when you think about cities instead of areas, you start to get this talking point that Trump has been repeated. So if you look at mayors, 35 of the 50 largest cities are run by Democrats. 13 are run by Republicans, and 2 are Democratic-leaning independents. So because more cities are run by Democrats, you have to account for that in your analysis. The large Republican cities are San Diego, run by Republican mayors. San Diego, Jacksonville. Jacksonville is more dangerous than the average in Florida. It's run by a Republican. Fort Worth, Texas, run by a Republican. It's more dangerous than the average of Texas in terms of crime rates. El Paso, Texas is safer than average for Texas. Oklahoma City, run by a Republican, more dangerous than average. So what you really just have to understand is that there is a sort of base rate bias that you have to account for. The largest cities run by Democrats are the largest cities in the country. Crime tends to be greater in places with large population density for a number of different reasons that we understand. Cities have more crime because they're more densely populated. Cities also vote more for Democrats because they are more cosmopolitan, higher education rates. We know more educated people tend to vote for Democrats instead of Republicans. And that does not directly link to the crime is because the mayor is a Democrat. And this has been widely debunked, and it doesn't even pass the sniff test. There is not actually any correlation between crime and Democratic mayors when you account for crime being more prevalent in cities and the fact that Democrats lead. So that's the gist of it, okay? And let's just do a little bit of it, even at a faster 2x speed, just for kicks.
A majority of the cities in the United States, including cities with low crime rates. Now, when you look at the South, for example, and the South at both the city and state level is disproportionately under Republican rule, they have some of the highest poverty rates in the United States. Does that mean that Republican rule causes poverty? Maybe it does. And that's a better argument, quite frankly, than crime in so-called Democrat cities. But you still have to look at details and understand more to really know what it is that is going on. Now, when this conversation comes up, we also shouldn't ignore a broader context about crime. That crime has been decreasing for decades overall, and we might be better served understand.
Okay. Anyway, so you guys get the picture. That one was by special request because people were asking for that. Okay, we are standing by for what might be. Oh, any moment we may see this arraignment of the Trump organization criminally. We are celebrating this fact with the new coupon code indictment 21. Indictment 21 saves you an insane amount on my website, and it's a great day. Mike says, who should we believe when it comes to the conflicting guidance on masks? Between the CDC and the WHO, who would you consider more credible? I am not ready to wade into that right now. I don't have anything definitive to say, and so I don't see the advantage of wading into it at this point in time. Jason asked, do you think the indictment will result in banks calling loans in early? I saw people speculating that would corrupt the company. I haven't read anything about that at this point. Other super chats. Pim Tool says Den Pekpiro. S. Prez dumps in a second $100 super chat. Says the tax deduction was a Trump organization joke. I understand. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Hi from the UK. Love your channel. Get most of my US news from you and TYT. Have you signed the petition to prevent Bezos from returning to Earth yet? I have not. I don't know much about it. Okay, so we're caught up there as far as that goes. Okay, let me go. I'm going to do an exercise. Whoa, that was weird. Hold on a second. Oh, still on break. I'm going to do an exercise now with you guys. People say, David, when you play voicemails, you're like cherry picking either really boring ones or crazy ones. Play the good ones. Let's go through them one by one. We've been off for 6 days. So now I have fresh voicemails, okay? Let's just go through them one by one. You'll see what it's like to actually go through these.
Hi, David. My name is Shashi. I was rewatching, or catching up, rather, on your show from yesterday, and I got to the Michael Savage segment of the show. And first of all, it gave me embarrassment that I used to listen to that guy and take him seriously. But secondly, his analogy of comparing the critical race theory stuff to the Holocaust reminded me of...
All right, so that goes on for 2 minutes. That's not a good fit for the show. Here's another one. Next. We're going one at a time.
Hi, David. Bizarro conspiracy theory coming your way. I just made this up watching your video on Diamond and Silk. So are Diamond and Silk slaves? Like, were they, like, are they like descendants of like actual slaves that were like owned by some of these Republicans?
All right, here's the next one.
Hey, David, it's Ryan. I gotta see if you've seen this clip. There's an OAN clip where the guy is so radical that he actually calls for the execution of anyone that he says stole the election from Donald Trump. And he says, I don't know if it's thousands of people, hundreds of people, thousands of people, or maybe more. And he just calls for their execution, literally on OAN, calling for mass execution.
Okay. Here's the next one.
Hey, I remember a couple years ago, Alex Jones once invited Emma Vigeland on his show to debate him, and she turned it and she refused. I'm just wondering what's up with that.
Okay, so see, like, there's no, I don't know, some people just don't know how a show works, but I can't do a segment on Emma Vigeland turning down an invitation 3 years ago, you know? It's not a segment for the show. Okay. Let's see. Next one.
Hi, David. I signed up for a membership on your site, and I used a coupon code, and now I'm in prison. Can you please post bail for me? It's gonna.
All right, that's sort of funny. Here's the next one.
Hello, David. This is Joshua from Texas. On your June 24th show, Taking Back the Flag was brought up. While I agree that we should be looking at patriotism through a lens of the good our country has accomplished and how much it has improved, that's the more logical approach, I would like to point out that we're not going against the logical, and sometimes doing the illogical can be the quickest way to feel.
Anyway, it's like, you know, I know in the first 10 seconds that's not usable.
Hi, David. I'm with Light. My name's Andre. I'm with Light Script Productions. And we're...
Oh, hold on. This guy sends okay, hold on. That guy actually gives personal info. So I'm going to skip that. All right.
Hey, David. I was wondering if you had any thoughts about that bogus audit that's going on in Arizona. I don't think enough attention's been...
Yeah, it's like, you know, I've done 10 segments about the Arizona audit. We're going one by one. I'm not skipping anything, okay?
Hey, you know, David, I find this this General Milley's comment really fascinating, because what he's doing is he's addressing one of the most fundamental tenets of Trumpism, and that and this new conservatism, and that is this: that smart people are stupid, and you know, and what he's saying is that he finds this offensive, and that, you know, he thinks that, you know, people should be smart. And
okay. Oh, here's Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan called in.
D-Man, this is Reagan. I wanted to address something with you that's been bothering me for some time. I'll start with a story about my personal life.
Okay. And again, it's 3 minutes long. Total love to Reagan, but we can't, you know, we don't do 3-minute voicemails on the show. This is why it's so tough to find voicemails for the show. It's like 1 out of maybe 100 that are sort of usable. I want to say a huge thank you to Bruce Clethero, who is new member number 32 today and used the coupon code indictment21. We are moments. Oh, look, here is Alan Weisselberg wearing a mask and being brought in handcuffs to court. Look at this. Trump CFO is perp walked, ladies and gentlemen. Trump CFO in handcuffs. It's not Trump, but he's in handcuffs. Wow. Look at this. The perp walk for Trump's top guy. That is something else right there.
Stand back and stand by.
There he is. There is the first video of Alan Weisselberg masked, safely masked, and also in cuffs, being brought into court to face charges, presumably for the things he did for Donald Trump. Sir, ladies and gentlemen.
Congratulations, sir. You just won the election.
That is exactly right. Some kind of reverse lottery that Alan Weisselberg seems to have won or lost. And The arraignment is reportedly happening right now. We are outside the courthouse, and we could be just moments from hearing all about this.
Sir, your wife is up in the air.
Yeah, exactly. All right. And people are just going crazy. If you are driving, okay, please pull over because I'm about to tell you something crazy. Because of these indictments today, the coupon code indictment 21 has been created on my website. People can't believe it. I don't want anybody driving off the road in a fit of ecstasy. But we are just moments here. We have no live visual in the courthouse. We saw a cuffed Alan Weisselberg just being dragged in to face justice for his alleged crimes committed on the behalf of the Trump organization. And that is basically it, my friends. They are cuffed and they are going into court. Okay. No, but in all seriousness, the arraignment is happening right now. Any second, those indictments will be unsealed. A few other super chats here. I love your Ben Shapiro impression. Deepak, do you think the Cosby case getting tossed will throw ice on the Me Too movement? I don't know about that. I'm going to talk about that when we're fully back from vacation. Will liberal Dems veto bipartisan infrastructure bill if no budget reconciliation deal is accompanying it? Seems Dems are walking a fine line here. I've been away 6 days. I don't even know what's going on with that, if I'm perfectly frank. Support indictment in principle, but too reductive. Okay. It's another PIM tool, a 5-head take, apparently. It looks like something may be happening. Let's listen.
Kind of work up to unraveling the whole thing.
Let's get our audio
their
level.
Strategy is today.
Well, the strategy has always has to be that you bring a charge that you can prove beyond a reasonable doubt.
Okay, so we're going to keep waiting. Right now, in the courthouse right now, is Donald Trump's longtime CFO, Alan Weisselberg. He was just dragged in cuffs and an N95 or KN95 mask. Unbelievable stuff. In the meantime, let's listen to just a few other voicemails that are coming in, just to give you guys an impression of what I get.
Hey, David. My name is Michael Cohen from Sacramento, and I just wanted to express a thought that was spurred on by your discussion of the plan in Florida to start teaching about the evils of communism in their public schools, and get your opinion on this as well. I think communism gets kind of a bad rap, and I don't necessarily think it's an ideal form of government or anything like that. But what I do think is that a lot of the major examples we have of communist governments center around some kind of...
Again, this goes on for three minutes. We've talked about this ad nauseum. There's nothing I can do with it.
Hi, David. My name is Obi. I'm from Texas. And I have a question about politicians telling the truth, because it just seems like people, like, they are spouting lies every single day.
Yes, politicians lie. There's nothing I would be able to do with that.
Hey, Pac-Man. Was listening to your show. You are so punked. Unfortunately, hate to tell you, but President Trump is still the president. You better do some research. My friend is from Argentina, and she told me that she's surprised, for being an Argentine part, that you wouldn't know anything about this.
Right. Argentinians would know all about election fraud in the U.S., naturally.
It's really sad that you think that he's not the president, and Joe Biden is not even Joe Biden. That's a clone.
Right.
You better do some research, guy. Okay, I just want to help you out here. All right? You've been so punked.
Is he saying pumped or punked?
So brainwashed, my friend told me. And she's sad, too, because she's Argentinian.
It's funny also because, like, Why would another Argentinian know whether my views about American politics are right or wrong? Because I'm Argentinian, you need another Argentinian to comment about what I say about American politics? That's weird. Let's see if we can get a couple more here. Again, we're going in order. As you can see, they're essentially all not usable.
Hi, David. I just wanted to comment on a couple of bits from the 624 episode, June 24th. I really like your dry humor, your deadpan comedy, and you hide these little gems in your show. And when I catch them, I just love it. So it was.
I'm liking this one. This is good. This is good so far.
About the guy saying that the meeting is not over, and you said, I think this was more of an empirical question. The meeting is clearly over, and you just ran right through it and kept going, and I was dying. You're killing me sometimes. I just love it. And
this is a hero caller.
The other thing I wanted to mention was you had the caller that mentioned the Democrats need to take back the flag, and I agree with that caller. I agree with that guy. I've had that same idea in my lifetime, and think that the Democrats should not have surrendered the flag to the Republicans, as clearly we've seen in the last 12 months that that we're obviously patriots and supporters of the flag. And
all right, that's actually not bad. That's not a bad voicemail. Look at another.
Hi, my name's Chris, and I'm from Tennessee, and I just saw your race, your like critical race theory video, and I was wondering, because you do purport yourself to be a critic of critical race theory, you said that you felt that it would worsen race relations, and
so with this one, it's like, okay, I've got 7 or 8 segments on critical race theory. So this would be one more segment where I would just kind of like reiterate the same stuff. So anyway, that's just like to give people a sense of how tough it is to find voicemails to use on the show. If you're just joining us, the Trump Organization, as well as Donald Trump's organizational CEO, Alan Weisselberg, have been indicted. Alan Weisselberg has just been dragged into court in cuffs and a mask, and any second they're going to step out and we will have the full announcement as to what the charges are.
It's a fraud.
So we're standing by for that. I want to say thank you to people these are just such great people. Hillary Kalin just signed up for a membership on my website with the coupon code indictment21. We are celebrating the first indictments. Edwin Tobias just signed up with the coupon code indictment21. And Mark Castriotti just signed up with the coupon code indictment21. This is a new coupon code today only. You can sign up on my website and save a bunch of money. And I will say your name and the coupon code. Also want to say thanks over on Twitch to Bedwell, as well as Jay Tandaway, Microbe, Loosh, D Granitz for a sub and a gift, as well as Funky Kurt. Oh, wait, no, Funky Kurt I already thanked. Okay, so it's just the 5, putting us at 40. Beautiful. The website did go down yesterday for a moment. It had nothing to do with memberships. We just had to reboot the server. We had a couple new applications installed that allow me to very closely monitor every single one of you. No, I'm kidding. We had a couple new things installed on the website. We needed a restart, but it was all fine. Other super chats coming in. This is exciting. Can't wait for their court trials. I hope the trial is live. Whoop, whoop. That's the sound of the police. Do you think Trump will be popular in jail? I don't believe Trump will do a day in jail, as I said before. When will the left admit the conspiracy among eligible voters to remove Trump as evidenced by the vote count? Right. There was a conspiracy. More than 80 million Americans together said, let's go and vote this guy out. And they went out there and they did it. That is that is absolutely true. Let's see what else we've got here. Oh man, yeah, the other oh man, I didn't even know if I wanted to get into. There's a guy who keeps messaging me with COVID stuff saying that COVID tests are basically don't exist. They're just manipulated. And that the vaccine has motor oil. And we wrote and just said future emails will be blocked. And it seems to have very, very much triggered the guy. Maybe that's something for next week. I can't even really deal with that right now. It's just, it's too much. It's too much. Yep. Thank you to Haha Dead and Short Brief for the Twitch subs. I very much appreciate that. Do you think this negative press is good for Trump? No, I don't. But listen, I'm going to make this commentary next week, but I'm going to give you sort of like the short version of it right now. Oh, wait a second. Is this the start of this event? No, this doesn't seem like it's it. We watched together Trump's rally last Saturday, and he has another rally coming up this Saturday, which I may cover. We'll see. My takeaway from the rally and just from the general environment of the Republican Party right now is that if Trump is healthy and runs in 2024, I see 82-year-old Joe Biden having a really tough time winning. And if it's Kamala Harris, I also see her having a really tough time winning. I, at this point, am very concerned that either Biden saying I'm not running for re-election and it being Kamala, or an 82-year-old Joe Biden, I think both would not necessarily inspire and activate that many Democratic voters. And I am very worried that the exact same sort of being back on their haunches that took place in 2016 will happen again. Now, I know people are saying Trump's not healthy now, he's obese. I know. What I'm saying is if he's healthy enough to run, okay? Now, yes, Trump will also be quite old at that time. I just am having a bad feeling about it, and I'm not even articulating it. I'm not even articulating it super clearly yet. I'm going to sort of put my thoughts together in time for the show next week. But if it's Trump 24 versus Biden, I think it will be a real uphill battle for Joe Biden. And if it's Trump versus Kamala, I just have serious questions about it. The midterms and how the midterms go, people are pointing out that's also going to make a difference for sure. And how the midterms go, there's no doubt about that. There's no doubt about that. But if what I'm telling you is if you say to me, let's assume Trump runs 24. How am I feeling about it against Biden? I'm not in the position of Biden's got this. Biden's got this in the can. That's not my feeling. He's got it in the bag. Not at all. Not at all. That's not at all the feeling I have. There's some people saying it's going to be Trump versus Sanders. I would bet almost any amount of money that the 2024 presidential election does not come down to Trump as the Republican nominee and Bernie as the Democratic nominee. I would take almost any bet on that. All right, let's see. Standing by here. Let's see what's going on.
It's really interesting hearing all these details coming out of the courtroom. The first thing that really struck me, Allison, is the fact that Weisselberg entered the courtroom with his hands cuffed. If you remember, at the center of his allegations, they're tax crimes, not a violent offense.
Safely cuffed.
But they actually took those cuffs off as he sat down at the defense table. And we're actually getting more information about the allegations. That's what we talked about earlier we'd be watching for. Here, prosecutors are alleging a 15-year tax scheme. These charges include 15 felony counts.
Wow.
Scheme to defraud, conspiracy, grand larceny, and falsifying tax records. Now, they are alleging that Weisselberg avoided taxes on $1.7 million in income.
There is no way the Trumps didn't know about this. No way in hell.
That employees at the Trump organization, including Mr. Weisselberg, received perks. But again, this wasn't free coffee. This wasn't just car service. This was allegedly free apartments, school tuition, free cars. Those are the kinds of benefits that could add up to tens, hundreds, here over $1 million. So that's going to be the crux of this case. These are significant allegations, and it will be most interesting to see when Mr. Weisselberg and his attorneys sit down later today or tomorrow and assess this evidence, if this is enough to change his mind on cooperating with prosecutors.
So, Tara, one more time, can you just spell that out again?
Yeah.
That what they spelled out in court was more than just perks. I mean, they went into what sounds like, I guess, bigger things, unless it all falls under the umbrella of perks.
Yeah.
So just give us that litany again.
What they went into is
Fraud.
Oh, sorry, Paula. Sorry, Paula. Can you hear me?
Now I can hear you, yes, Allison.
So sorry. Can you just give me that litany again of what they just spelled out in court? Because it sounded like it was bigger than just perks, where you were talking about grand larceny and you were talking about tax fraud. Can you just spell out that laundry list?
Yeah, but guys, Weisselberg acted alone. Trump had despite being an incessant micromanager, Trump had no clue what Weisselberg was doing.
Big event. These are significant charges. They're alleging a 15-year-long tax fraud scheme. So they're alleging that for 15 years, the Trump organization and or Mr. Weisselberg were trying to avoid paying taxes. Specifically when it comes to Mr. Weisselberg, they're alleging that he tried to avoid paying taxes on $1.7 million in income. So they're alleging that he received some of these extra benefits, not his direct paycheck, but received income in other ways and didn't properly report it for tax purposes. So when it comes to not paying on $1.7 million of income, that is a significant charge. And again, what will be interesting to see is if this evidence, now that it's been revealed, is enough to change his mind, if he will now willing to be cooperate with prosecutors against his former boss.
Wow.
Okay, Paula, thank you very much. Let me bring in our analysts again. We are joined again by Laura, Ellie, Abby, and Jen Rogers. Okay, Laura. So tell me what you just heard there.
15 felony counts.
When she said a 15-year scheme, that in my mind said for every year that you fail to pay taxes, it represents a separate count, which means that you have, I think it's a minimum, depending upon the amount, of about 7 years per count, if I'm not mistaken, under New York law. And so you add that up, you're talking about a very significant prospective sentence. Of course, it's very rare that someone would get the maximum if convicted on all of those counts.
Wow.
But we're not talking about small potatoes here. What's unsurprising is that this indictment did not simply rely on statements about fringe benefits, was far more expansive, filing fraudulent documents, other aspects that Paula laid out for us. But again, it goes to...
All right, everybody, if you're just joining us, the Trump Organization was reportedly indicted last night. Trump's CFO, Alan Weisselberg, is in court right now with masks and cuffs. And reports from inside the courthouse are that Trump's CFO, longtime CFO, much celebrated CFO, Trump saying this is the guy, this is the best guy, he's tough and he's great, has been charged with a 15-year sequence of 15 felonies. 15 years, 15 felonies, if you're joining us. The audience is absolutely losing their mind. We have people just dumping in memberships using the coupon code indictment 21. People clearly thrilled about this. I want to say thank you to Heather McLaughlin, who just signed up on my website with the code indictment 21. Alexa Torres just signed up with the code indictment 21. Farron Franzak signing up with that very special code, as well as Christopher Anderson. The code is a direct reference to today's indictments.
They call them dumps.
And I want to say thank you to everybody who's been taking advantage of that. What a day. What a day. Any second, Alan Weisselberg is going to come out of court. I'm guessing that the cuffs come off when he makes bail, is my sense. And I don't know who we will hear from, whether it will be his lawyers, prosecutors, Weisselberg, I don't know. But 15, a number playing really prominently today. And it is unbelievable what is going on. Let's see. I want to see where I left off here. I just drove off the highway in ecstasy. Yeah, I know this is the problem. I was being careful about mentioning the coupon code because I was worried people would drive off the road. Be really careful out there, okay? Will Weissman flip? It's Weisselberg. Yeah, it's not Weissman. Will Trump Organization take such a hit that it affects Trump's personal finances? It's too early to know. It's too early to know right now. As cool as the title of this live stream is, I hold hopes in check until I see the words Trump criminally convicted. I would not hold my breath for that necessarily. Okay. Do you think Warren would make a good opponent? It's too early to say. Will the Trump org go down with a domino effect? Sort of like that Trump Foundation, right? I would love to see that. That would be amazing. David, why have progressives recently began to delegitimize Russia Gate? Has your opinion changed? I haven't seen anything about that. I don't know. Enjoy the extra bucks for failing at Super Chat. All right. Thank you. It's hard not to be a doomer when a serial liar and fraudster who encouraged an insurrection and is now being investigated for crimes likely will win if he runs against the incumbent president. That's a sad state of affairs. Yeah, no doubt about it. Jason says, is 15 years enough to bring down the whole company? I don't know. But 15 felony counts. This is very serious, and it definitely endangers the Trump organization, which you love to see. We're keeping our fingers crossed. I'm endlessly Skitoshi Nakayobro says, I'm endlessly entertained by the Trump soundboard you have, David. Please never stop being awesome.
And God bless the United States.
Pim Tool says, this is delicious, not to gloat, but wow, strong. 15 felony counts is exciting. That's tickling my fancy. Crazy Nate says, I sent you a voicemail about the Mitch Fund by BTC. Okay. Marco says, are you coming to Berlin in August? No. So I don't know that I was ever going to Berlin. I was going to be in Germany in August. Because there's just a lot of uncertainty right now, I decided I'm going to make it a single country trip, and that country is going to be Spain and Spain alone. I'm foregoing. There was going to be a sort of Frankfurt to France, Switzerland, ending in Italy road trip, and it's not happening. I just don't feel like dealing with the logistics, and I'm going to be in Spain, not Madrid. I'm going to be in northern Spain, and very much looking forward to it. But no, I am not going to be in Berlin. Not scheduled to be in Berlin at any point in time right now. Okay. I may go into northern Portugal. The city of Porto is a fantastic place. And yeah, so we'll see how that all goes. David, do you think it's worth our time to argue with Republicans when they spread misinformation in our presence, or is it a waste of energy? I think the best thing to do is to ask them, use a Socratic method of questioning to say, where did you get that information? Okay, hold on. It looks like things are happening here.
Pled not guilty. Here is Alan. Oh, these are live pictures. This
live.
Means that Alan Weisselberg is leaving the courtroom, or is this from earlier? He is leaving now. Alan Weisselberg is leaving.
He has been uncuffed, as you can see.
Now, Ellie, he's not handcuffed this time, is he?
Right, so he's clearly been released, as Laura Coates just said. We'll have to figure out what the terms of that release are. Has he been released on his own recognizance, which just means we trust you to come back? Has there been some bail condition, some limitation? Will he be under house arrest? Something like that. But yeah, these proceedings are quick. You're advised of your rights. You plead not guilty, and then you walk out.
Wow.
He will go home right now. The question, he may be confined to his home. Sometimes when someone's released like this, the judge will say you can't leave your home, or you can't leave the state, or you need special permission, or you have a curfew. So those details, I think, we'll get soon.
Yeah, guys, why wouldn't you trust a guy accused of 15 felonies perpetrated over a 15-year period not to do anything wrong while he's out on no bail? All right? I mean, of course, just let him out.
Will continue, certainly. I mean, Alan Weisselberg is now starting this litigation process, so he will have a status conference today. You know, his case will proceed, but he and his lawyers will certainly be talking. This was clearly this last-ditch effort by prosecutors to bring him into the fold, to make him a cooperator, and that's the decision that's facing them now.
And do you think, Jen, that something changes now? I mean, what we had heard was that Alan Weisselberg had not been cooperating with investigators and with prosecutors, but I know that things can change after you're indicted. In your experience, do things move faster now?
You know, it's really hard to say. I think in cases like this, in white-collar cases, the defendant and his lawyers are often meeting and speaking with prosecutors all along about what the charges are going to be. They will have told him in advance what he's facing, so it won't be a surprise to him. It's not like he walked into court this morning and learned that he was being charged with much more than he anticipated. So if he changes his mind, it's really from the kind of thought process that Ellie and Laura were talking about, the kind of cold, hard reality of being put in handcuffs, of going to the court.
All right, so we're standing by potentially for him exiting the courtroom. It's not clear which door this will happen from, and we're watching it all. I do want to continue. Oh, whoa, hold on. Here we go.
Facts, but that can be an important
Weisselberg in the middle with a sort of roundish mask.
You know, I don't know. We'll just have to see.
A cadre of people, a phalanx, we might say.
Now, we assume with his attorneys there. We also understand that the Trump Organization lawyers are there. Looks like he's getting into a Suburban of some kind and going to drive away. We have some new details that we're just getting in, though, about what happened in the courtroom. So prosecutors said that Weisselberg attempted to conceal his participation in the scheme with the knowledge of the company. Quote, even now, there's been no attempt to impose discipline on members of the company. Manhattan prosecutor Carrie Dunn said, there is no clearer example of a company that should be held responsible. Prosecutors asked for Weisselberg's passport to be taken, suggesting that he may be a flight risk, saying he has been and will remain CFO of this international company. There is, quote, ample record of travel by private jet, ample means to support himself out of our jurisdiction. Ellie, your take on that?
So one of the things judges think about when letting someone out on bail like Alan White.
What a day. What a day. I mean, really unbelievable what is happening here. Can you explain why you think Trump won't ever go to jail? You know, I've done it so many times. I just don't feel like doing it again right now. I think that it's not super likely Trump will be charged, but if he is charged, it's not super likely Trump will be found guilty of anything. And if he is found guilty, it's not likely that he'll be sentenced to prison. And if he were sentenced to prison, it would probably be a suspended sentence. So you know, I just don't see it. I just don't see it. This is great news, but I can't get too excited or else this plus my Blue Chew addiction will have me absolutely decommissioned. Okay, careful there, Juicy Bacon. I'm pitching in 15 for 15. Keep your shine on, David. Great job. Thank you. Congratulations, Trump org. Don't drop the soap. Nah, I don't like that stuff. Yeah, that's not, yeah. I mean, the fact that when you go to prison, oh, whoa, hold on a second. Here we go.
Taxes on $1.7 million of income. Is this what you expected?
Could we listen to this guy?
This is more than I expected. It goes on for a longer period of time. I think the key thing to look for here.
Why don't we have audio?
And we got a little bit of color about it with some of the things that were said in court. Is the degree to which
we should be hearing what
and to mask it. I think that's really key, because it's one thing to say, hey, you messed up. You should have put all of this on your taxes. You didn't. You owe all this money. You owe penalties, etc. It's a different thing entirely to say you purposefully, intentionally, knowingly, some combination of those things, went out of your way to mask this. And
maybe they'll roll that back. Maybe they wouldn't have been able to see all of it. Yeah. Anyway, the reason I don't like prison rape jokes is because the fact that our prisons are so dysfunctional that they can't even protect prisoners from being raped shouldn't be something we celebrate as an additional punishment. I just disagree with it and reject it completely. And I've talked about that before. Okay, let's see. People are saying MSNBC is carrying this stuff more strongly.
Line to cross.
Let's see if I can get the MSNBC feed going.
We're very concerned about that, so that in the future,
hold on a second.
If some prosecutor in a different political jurisdiction.
Let's see what we've got. Now there's an ad playing. I think this may work. Let's see. The ad blocker doesn't block this. It's crazy.
This is our shot.
Oh, my God.
The COVID-19 vaccines are ready.
Okay, this is MSNBC, where I'm told that they are actually running the statements that are being made. We're going to get to it momentarily. Okay, here we go.
In the civil context, the IRS has never made a case like this. We cannot find where the IRS has ever made a case like this. And we're all aware, all of you and all of us are aware of the very significant financial crimes that have occurred by large financial institutions where this office did not take them on, did not prosecute them. Going back to 2008, the financial collapse of the United States, many of the firms that were involved in those
By the way,
events.
both Newsmax and NTD have microphones there. You guys see that?
Go after those firms and drag them into court, those companies into court, and we're talking about $1 trillion in lost value to homeowners across the United States. So those are my thoughts, and I think that it is an improper precedent. I think the office knows this. I'm not saying anything to you all that they are not aware of, but I believe the political forces driving today's events are just that. It's politically driven, notwithstanding the statements by my colleague at the DA's office in court today.
$1.7 million. I know he's not your client, but that's a lot of money. What would Mr. Trump have to say about that?
The allegations in the indictment are just that. They are allegations. They have to be proven. These kinds of cases typically are resolved in the civil context. Why? Because the law on compensation, on fringe benefits is murky. It's difficult. It's complex.
So he's already distorting. This is not all about fringe benefits. That was something that was expected. It's not only about fringe benefits.
Vigorously contested by people who are experts in the field and know this law very, very well.
How concerned is Mr. Trump about his personal fate as a result of this? As they say, this could just be the beginning of a more lengthy and more thorough prosecution.
The district attorney can say and announce whatever they would like to say and announce. We have no concerns going forward. That's all I can say on that matter.
So that $1.7 million was out for 15 years, I thought I heard them say.
The indictment alleges that amount of money was from 2005.
He won't even say it.
To 2016
that amount.
Or 17. But again, the question is, what is it about? It's about apartments. Is something a corporate apartment? Is something properly an expense of the company? And these are complex questions, never charged in a criminal case, and they shouldn't have been here, quite frankly.
If this were a civil case, would you be willing to settle?
All civil cases, I've been a lawyer a long time. My wonderful colleagues, Bettina Shine, Susan Necklace, been lawyers a long time. All civil cases, people get into a room, they talk about it. Often they resolve things. What can I say? Your own human experience tells you.
This guy's pretty gross.
We're way before any kind of. All I can tell you is all of our common experience would tell you that civil cases, people usually get in a room, they figure out what the issues are, and they resolve them. That's what happens.
How is the Trump organization affected by this? This could be very damaging to the organization itself.
We are the company is very, very optimistic that and we're certainly hopeful that there will not be significant effects. I do remind you all that there are large financial institutions in New York City, very well-known financial institutions that were the subject of criminal prosecutions and that are regulated entities. We're talking banks, we're talking large financial institutions, and they've all...
By the way, why isn't the prosecution visiting the border? That's a very funny comment in Twitch chat. Really well done.
Is that what is the company? The company is about 3,500 employees worldwide. Many of those are in the United States at these properties and hotels and golf clubs. And I've visited some of those. And the people that are employed are waiters, and they're bellmen, and they're busboys, and they clean
What was the question?
And they fix the meals, and they are maintenance people, and they take care of the grounds. And they are people from all walks of life, of every country on the planet, and they are good, hardworking people. And so those are the people that really are behind this company. And you all should know that.
Based on what's in the indictment, do you think the real target here is former President Trump?
I would answer that by saying that certainly, given the given the nature and the unprecedented nature of these charges, that certainly that's the reason they were brought. Okay, if the name of the company was something else, I don't think these charges would have been brought. In fact, I am fairly certain they would not have
This
been
guy's
brought
slippery,
if the
huh?
name was a different name. No. The answer is no, and I'm going to speak to what we are talking about today. I'm finished. I appreciate you all, but that's what I have to talk about this afternoon. Thank you. Alan Futerfas, Futerfas.
It's a fraud.
Thank you.
I just have a few comments to make on behalf.
All right, you are listening to
Oh, don't cut away.
the attorney representing the Trump Organization, making the case that the organization, after pleading not guilty, believes that these charges are politically.
All right, so there is that. Oh, here we go. CNN has it.
Donald Trump, that they wanted to hear that Donald Trump had done things criminally, which they did not, the witnesses did not do because they could not do. Although Kerry Dunn in court said this was not a political prosecution, I think you can all see what has happened in the press, what you've seen over the last year, and the comments that Attorney General Letitia James has repeatedly made. She campaigned on a promise that she would get Donald Trump. She repeatedly said she would use all areas of the law to get Donald Trump, and this is a joint prosecution. While she was Attorney General and while President Trump was in office, she sued him 70 times.
So basically, character assassination of the prosecutor, just saying it's a personal vendetta. It seems to be the strategy right now. Yeah, wow.
So this is the person who now with the DA's office have teamed up together to bring this unprecedented prosecution. The DA's office may say it's not unprecedented, but they cannot point to any case where a corporation has been prosecuted based on a few individuals in the corporation who allegedly on their personal tax return made a mistake or did not pick up fringe benefits on their
not about
personal
fringe
tax
benefits.
return. There is no such case that we have been able to find, and we do not believe that there is any such case that they have been able to find. You cannot say, like the DA's office said in court, oh, we brought the case because they didn't cooperate with us. That's not how it works. You bring the case on principles of corporation, of liability, and when a corporation has done massive wrongdoing. That's what the DA's office's guidelines for corporate liability said, and they disregarded those guidelines to bring a case against the Trump company. Never happened before. We will win this case, but this case should have never been brought. It is a political prosecution. Political prosecutions where people are targeted.
Any surprise that they're the victims as usual? It's just these people, this business, this family, they are always the victims of everything.
It's un-American. It should not happen here in New York City, the greatest city and the greatest democracy in the world. Should not.
What does it matter if New York City's great or not, like in this context?
That this occurred. Thank you. I'm not answering any questions here. Thank you.
Okay, we have been listening there to the attorneys for the Trump.
All right, so there's that. Let's see if MSNBC picked up anything else. No, not right now. Wow, what a day.
Sir, you're on the cover of Time magazine again.
That's gonna be an issue. That's certainly gonna be an issue. I want to try to get caught up on some of these super chats because so many of you have things to say as we are standing by here. Big thank you to Wendy Bennett, who just signed up with the coupon code Indictment 21. That is the day. It is Indictment Day. Bradley Lehman signed up with the code Indictment 21. Nick Goldstein signing up. Ruben Sanchez is a new member. Ollie A has signed up. Bobby Bosarge. Thanks to Jaime Chavez with the coupon code Indictment 21. Steve Broggy is a new member. And Bert Elin has also signed up. That is 7, putting us at 53. That code today part of the celebration of this first series of indictments against the Trump Organization and his employees. Alan Weisselberg, 15 felony counts. 15 felony counts. You can use that code at joinpacman.com. Also, I want to say thanks to Colors ATK as well as Milo Wild, Hewitt, I Am Stranded, Kessel Runner, all of whom signed up via Twitch today. Remember, do not leave your Bezos bucks in Jeff Bezos's pocket. You don't have to support me. But if you have Amazon Prime, use that Twitch Prime sub for someone. Otherwise, it just stays in Jeff Bezos' pocket for his yacht and his yacht's support yacht and the support yacht's yacht and then the helicopter pilot's yacht and all of this different stuff. Okay, that's crazy. Racanelli says 15 counts at 7 years per count. Yeah, he'll flip. Look how far down you have to scroll on Fox to see this. Oh, let's check that out. FoxNews.com. Let's see. Okay. I'm looking for it. Pretty big story. Not finding it. Here it is. Okay. And down here. All right. I mean, it's not as far down as I might have expected. It's pretty far down, but it's not as far down as I would have expected. Other super chats. Do you think Weisselberg will end up like Epstein? Not even going to get involved in that. Now that Weisselberg knows the charges, how long before he flips? Oh, let's listen to Michael Cohen and see what he has to say.
To see you. Your reaction to what you've heard in this indictment.
There's nothing that has been said that I couldn't have scripted out in advance of the Trump Organization's counsel, whether it was Alan Cuddefuss or the other attorney. Obviously, what else can Donald say? What else can Alan Weisselberg say? It's political. It's political. He's been saying this witch hunt sort of language since the very first day that he took office. No one is allowed to investigate Donald unless Donald tells you he's allowed to be investigated. And that's the problem here. So, look, everybody has to just take a step back, read through the indictment as it's written instead of skimming through it in order to find pieces. What you're going to find is that Alan Weisselberg is in substantially greater jeopardy than he was last night. You know, Allison, I've said this before, and I want to say it to you as well. There's a big difference between when you're under investigation and when you're under indictment. The next step for Alan Weisselberg and possibly his children is prison. And we already saw the numbers as by your group before of 7 years for each of the 15 counts. That's 105 years that the man is looking. Now, nobody believes that he's going to get 105 years, but even 3 like I was charged with. It's a long time. And that feeling of the handcuffs or shackles or however else that they paraded him through, that's real. And he knows the reality now a lot greater than he did yesterday.
And so, Michael, I mean, because you've been in this very position in terms of being indicted and knowing the difference between an investigation and an indictment, what we've learned, at least from what has leaked out in media reports, is that Alan Weisselberg was not interested in cooperating up until now. Do you think that today something changes?
Yeah, I mean, he would be crazy not to, because right now his life is on the line. He's 74 years old. He gets 3 years, 5 years, whatever it is. That's real time when you're in your golden years. He doesn't want to be away from his wife and his sons and his grandchildren. He wants to be with his family. He wants to go on down to Boynton Beach and enjoy his golden years of his life, not hanging out with a bunch of other inmates, whether it's in an Otisville type scenario, of course that's federal, or wherever they're going to send him. It's not a joke at this point in time. And here's the thing. I think it was one of the members of your panel, I forget who it was, made a statement which is very true. What you have right now is Alan Weisselberg's head on the chopping block. And do you think that Donald Trump will protect him? Well, if Alan looks back at what happened to me, the answer is an emphatic no. He's going to pay the legal bills up until he gets tired of paying the legal bills because it's too much money. Why am I paying for everybody's money? Why am I paying for everybody's bills? And then he's going to cut him off. It's no different than what he did to me. First, they bring you in, they hug you, they tell you everything's going to be fine. And then when things really get hot, that's when Donald runs. And the beauty of Donald doing that for him is he's going to say, well, that's why I paid my CFO. That's why I paid the accounting firm. I also want to just say to you, Alan Weisselberg is not the keystone. He is not the keystone to this investigation.
Michael, I want to ask you about something that I think you have some information about personally.
Yes.
In the indictment, there are some details about the tuition, okay, that went for Alan Weisselberg's, I think, grandchildren. So there is a $359,000 check to Columbia Grammar School that Weisselberg's grandchildren went to, that it looks like were, according to this indictment, signed by Donald Trump himself. Do you have any information about that?
Of course.
Uh-oh.
What's the exact question that you want? Why is it signed by Donald? How many times on all of these shows do I have to say there is nothing that happened at the Trump Organization that did not go to Donald?
Right.
Whether it was the purchasing of paper clips or the payment of Alan Weisselberg's grandchildren's tuition. Every single thing went on Donald's death signature.
Dear God.
Oh, hold on. I'm just making sure I didn't lose you. Do you hear me? Can you hear me, Michael? Michael? Okay, hold on. Okay, we're going to get Michael back in a second, but right now we want to bring in Ellie. Ellie, tell me everything.
Wow.
I know you're through the
How nuts is this, huh? This is crazy what's happening. He told me, sir, I'm being charged with 15 felonies.
Sir, you can't ask that question.
Nigel says, will Don Jr. shut up for a day? No. What happened to the tax and insurance fraud? Let's see what else we've got here. Prediction, Trump will initially distance himself from Weisselberg. Say he doesn't know him. I didn't know he did this, blah, blah, blah. Danny Thompson coming in with a stream record $105 super chat, 15 felony counts and 7 years prison for each. Deserves a very strong super chat for sure. We are going to discover that the oranges of this investigation are definitely bananas. Have a great long weekend, and thanks for all that you do.
We're looking very strongly at sinks and showers.
Mark says, did they give him his tie and belt back? I believe they did. Kelsey says, Trump has new social media platform called Getter. Okay, let's get back to Michael Cohen.
Longtime personal attorney. So, Michael, I mean, basically what I'm alluding to with this is that I know that you have sat many times with prosecutors and given them, you know, what you know now. And so have you been able to point them to any specific fraudulent transaction that you can tie to Donald Trump that you think is now connected here?
Uh-oh.
Right. So let me once again say that I won't discuss my conversations with the district attorney out of respect for the investigation. All I can say is, yes, there are a multitude of documents that are in the possession of prosecutors that tie Donald Trump to everything. Whoa. Because everything went through Donald. I don't know how many more times I could possibly say the same thing. You know, every single thing, whether it was the acquisition of paper clips, light bulbs, furniture, mattresses, you name it.
Mattresses.
Right? Alan Weisselberg's kids' payments, rents, everything would have a Donald signature on it or his initial. And that included, and there are other people at the Trump Organization who additionally received the same sort of perk benefits that Alan Weisselberg did.
Trump had he definitely didn't want anybody getting those pillow tops. That was it. Just the normal mattress was his limit.
We're looking very strongly at sinks and showers.
Their taxes. And why is it that it was done, and how is it that it was done and booked by the Trump Organization? Now, one of the things before I lost you in terms of sound that I was saying, what Donald will do, since he doesn't have emails, is he's going to claim that this is everybody else's fault. That's part of the Donald strategy. That's his playbook. It's not me. It's Michael Cohen. It's not me. It's Alan Weisselberg. It's not me. It's Matthew Calamari. But then he's going to say, it's not me. It's the accounting firm. So do you think that there's not going to be other people that are going to step up to the plate?
By the way, the fact that there's a guy named Calamari who's involved here, I don't know why, but that just cracks me up. I don't even know why it's so funny.
What's interesting is that though everything you've said rings true, in the past, for everything that has come up, whatever allegations there have been, somehow Donald Trump...
It was a squid pro quo. Nicely done. Very, very nicely done.
He didn't. And so why do you think this time is going to be any different?
Well, you know the expression, right? The cat has 9 lives. I think his 9 lives have expired because the documentary evidence that's in the hands of the prosecutors is so significant and it's so spot on that there's no way anybody's getting out of it. And again, neither Alan Weisselberg or Calamari or anybody are the keystone here because the documents speak for themselves and there are more than enough people that are capable.
Carlos Spaghetti actually has really the treasure trove of documents.
Michael, I have another question for you. Because you've lived through this, what is Donald Trump saying to Alan Weisselberg right now? What message is he sending to him? And if they are still speaking, I mean, I know that you were still speaking to him and in contact until the point where your apartment and office were raided, and then you would get messages through his lawyers. So what sorts of messages are coming into Alan Weisselberg now?
Alan, listen, I know what you're going through. This is terrible. It's part of the witch hunt. You know it. I know it. Stay the course. Stay strong. I have your back. You know, don't worry about the finances. We're going to take care of all of it. We're going to take care of your attorneys. Do not worry, right? This is all nonsense. It's all the politicization of, you know, of the Trump organization and me. They've been fighting for years. You know that we've been through much bigger wars than this. Just stay strong with me, and I promise you I have your back.
Fraud.
Guess what?
That sounds pretty persuasive.
It sure does, but guess what? It's not true. Because nothing that Donald Trump says is true. And Alan will be the fall guy, just as I was the fall guy. And listening to these attorneys say, this has never happened, it's unprecedented, it's not true. I went to prison in part for hush money payments. I went because of a campaign finance violation.
Right.
So if you really think that just because it's Alan Weisselberg and Donald Trump once again saying something, that's going to become the reality, he could say it all he wants. It's not the reality.
Michael, I'm just still reading through this indictment, but one thing that I want to ask you about is the indictment alleges that the Trump Organization destroyed business records in September of 2016. Do you know what that's in reference to?
Again, this is all part of the DA's prosecution of both the Trump Organization, Weisselberg, and others, so I don't want to get into it. But obviously, they're not going to make a statement like that unless that they have the information in order to back it up. Right. Remember, most of the stuff that was documents with the Trump Organization come in only 2 forms. It's either electronic or it's on paper. That's just the way that the company ran. And so if there's information that's missing from the hard drive, rest assured, Quantico knows how to bring that information back. We've seen that before. And as it relates to paper, that's only one side. If I'm sending you an email, okay, if I get rid of it, that doesn't mean that yours is gone. So they will figure out how to get, or if not, they already have it, the information that they're looking for, or they're going to have it as a corroborating witness.
Michael, as you probably heard Ellie Honig just outline from the indictment, there were other people mentioned, other employees, that it sounded like it goes beyond Alan Weisselberg. You think this is bigger than Alan Weisselberg?
Isn't this the best?
Is next to be indicted.
Well, I think that Matthew Calamari is on the chopping block as well. He received the same type of perks, the COO, the same kind of perks and benefits that Alan.
Shelley Shellfish also may be doing a hard time, if you know what I mean.
Believe that there are other members of the Trump Organization, including the children, who are next to come up onto these indictments.
You don't mean Alan Weisselberg's children. You mean Donald Trump's. You mean Eric and Don Jr. and Ivanka?
Correct.
And what do you think they would be indicted for?
Well, again, their participation in different aspects of the company and how they ended up booking things for tax purposes.
Matthew
the benefits
Calamari.
that they took and received. And again, I don't want people to think that this case is about Alan Weisselberg in an apartment and a free car and so on. It is substantially larger in scope than just that aspect. That is but the tip. That's the tip of the iceberg. And there's so much more that's going to be coming. So, again, to take this indictment, I think Ellie Honig said it best before, which is that there are different ways that different prosecutors run their cases. In this specific case, they're doing it this way. They could have done a sweeping indictment against 10, 12, 15 people if they really wanted, but they're not. They're doing it in a methodical way. And despite the fact that as a society now, we like our information immediate and we want things to be done on the spot, that's not realistic in this specific case,
but
because you are
think,
going after.
I mean, but if this is the tip of the iceberg, what's the iceberg? What more is about to drop?
Well, the ultimate, which is what they're really looking to do, the target of this investigation is not Alan Weisselberg. Of course, it's the CEO of the Trump Organization, Donald Trump himself.
Wow. Michael Cohen, we really appreciate you sharing your particular, unique insights into the Trump Organization, as well as all of this investigation with us. Great to talk to you.
Thanks, Allison.
What a crazy situation, huh?
I don't care what they name it. Name it Peaches.
Yeah. So there is Michael Cohen. Oh, he's saying more.
Don't go away. So you may want to smarten up and think about providing the information that they already have and corroborating it. If not, I'm sure we'll talk about it in 20 years from now.
We'll see if he takes your advice. Michael Cohen, thank you very much.
Be well, Allison.
All right. So there is Michael Cohen dropping a few bombs there. Let's see what MSNBC is reporting.
That's the district attorney's office response on the record in court. We'll continue to comb through a little bit more of this speech and obviously continue to share it with you. But that's what he said to the judge. I do want to read one other section. Sorry, Eamon. He said, finally, to address what this case is not about. It's not about politics. Dunn says this investigation, which is ongoing, has been thorough, careful, and proper, and has been limited to subject matters with.
So I think we don't necessarily need to be hearing that, but what a day, huh? What an incredible day. A few people having a good time with Matthew Calamari. Ferret Queen says Sam Sushi has been raided. The FBI said something seemed fishy. David says, how about Matthew Calamari's uncle Tony Marinara? Ollie says Calamari forced Trump into a squid pro quo. Charles says Calamari is just the tip of the iceberg. Wait until they indict Marty Meatballs. And don't forget about former Trump bodyguard Gabe A. Ghoul. Okay, yeah, so a lot really happening there. Tony Marinara, you should see, that's a guy with some spice on his shoulder. I want to say thank you to Natasha Estes, who just signed up with the coupon code Indictment21. It is Indictment Day. If you've been saying, you know what, sir, I will sign up for a membership when somebody gets indicted in the Trump Organization, that day is today, and you can sign up on my website with the code Indictment21. Jamie Mulvihill has also done that. New members 59 and 60 today. Also, a big thank you to Artistic Simplicity via Twitch, Nasty Questions, Lie Hair, It's the Mac Attack, Colion, Moss Parkman. I don't know what that means. Real-time fan, Rose from the Ashes, Sparles Barkley, Kerr, Norfolk in Luck, Sharklops, the Mike Lennon, all signing up really strongly via Super Chat, putting us, via Twitch Prime, putting us at 69 for the day. And we are very close to running out of those Indictment 21 Super Chats, by the way, memberships. The website has almost been completely exhausted. So that is, there's limited time left. Any news about Paul Mango? Well, yeah, I mean, that actually reminds me. Diamond and Silk They had a really, really strong, they denounced mango prices, I guess it was. Oh, I think this is my own clip. Yeah, that's funny. This is my own clip. Mangoes?
My bag of mangoes up under Trump cost me $8.
I love mangoes too.
99 cents. Okay. Now that we are up under Biden's regime, my bag of mangoes now costs $11.99.
That seems like a pretty good deal. A bag of mangoes? Aren't mangoes like $3 each? That's it. I want what, $8 or $11. That sounds good.
And the American people blind. It's highway robbery is what you're doing. That's right.
Who knew mango could get people so worked up?
Bring my mangoes back down.
That's right. Right about that.
The Wisconsin crowd not identifying with the mango material.
Disproportionately affected.
That's kind of funny, actually.
I raised the price of fruit. Don't you want me to be healthy? Don't you?
Yeah, okay. All right, very good. Very, very good. No further comment on that from me. But the mango material playing really well there. I wonder what the Fox News sycophants will say tonight. I think we know. I think we know exactly what to expect from those folks. Okay. Yeah. So that's basically what's going. Now, are we curious like how Newsmax might be covering this? I'm like a little bit curious. Let's just see. Newsmax, like, by the way, Newsmax has been slamming us with copyright claims. So nothing's going on, yeah.
Manipulation through a process called gain-of-function research.
Just for even showing this, we'll probably get hit with a copyright strike. I'll do a story on that next week.
Pathogen, I think the chances are that they were working on it and it was funded by the military. I'm very confident in that. I assess that the most likely origin was an accidental infection of laboratory personnel from the Wuhan Institute of Virology.
What's that buzzing, by the way?
Transmission to the local population and subsequent spread to hundreds of millions of people around the world.
The noise
so why
causes
is
cancer.
it significant and worthwhile that we figure this out?
I think if we don't look into this, if we're turning a blind eye towards this.
So 15 felonies over 15 years against Trump CFO. And this is what Newsmax is currently covering. Make of that sort of what you will, I guess. Thanks to Zilly Doe for the Twitch Prime sub. Appreciate that. You're number 70 today. Very, very much appreciate it. Also want to say thank you to Dale Bowers with the coupon code indictment21 and Gregory Hardy signing up with the code indictment21. All right, guys. So that's the news. A really strong indictment. Trump Organization indicted on 10 counts. Trump's CFO indicted on 15 counts. So I will more than likely stream the Trump rally on Saturday. It does conflict with Argentina versus Ecuador in Copa America, but I will see. We'll see if we can work that out. If Trump doesn't start late, I could at least do like the first hour. So that's my plan. I will see everybody Saturday. Appreciate the super chats, appreciate the subscriptions. I really appreciate all of it. And we will review the brand new song from Officer Akimov on the way out.
Moment of the sexual experience will ask the young lady, who's your daddy?
This should be remixed. If Officer Akimov is watching, this could be the next remix masterpiece. Because just wait till you see what happens here. Oh, Officer Akimov is here. That's beautiful.
Who's your daddy? Who's your daddy? Who's your daddy?
I'm joined today by Pastor James David Manning.
Who's your daddy? Who's your daddy? No, I'm a Christian.
Who's your daddy? Who's your daddy?
Who's your daddy?
I'm joined today by Pastor James David Manning.
Who's your daddy? Who's your daddy?
Fraud. It's a fraud. A long-legged Mac Daddy is the most successful pimp on planet Earth. To reverence the word of God, to trust it, to preach it, to teach it, loads and loads of money and tons of lies. Loads and loads of money and tons of lies.
What happened in prison that brought you to Jesus? What happened in prison that brought you to Jesus?
China.
China.
George Bush Sr. and George Bush Jr. have been penetrated by at least 100 men in their anus area. 100,000, 200,000 strong. I didn't do it. That's not my problem. So I got down on my knees. I didn't do it, but I was tempted.
Sounds like quite an evening.
Loads and loads of money and tons of lies. Loads and loads of money and tons of lies. Loads and loads of money and tons of lies. Loads and loads of money and tons of lies. Let me say something to you about marketing. Starbucks has done the exact same thing that Coca-Cola has done, except they've done it with semen.
That certainly seems to be a story that has been missed.
I have with me David Pakman. He is a progressive host and executive producer of the nationally syndicated radio and TV program, The David Pakman Show. And I wanted to talk to David Pakman. He is a beta male. David Pakman. He is a beta male. The beta male. David Pakman. He is a beta male. David Pakman, he is a beta male. The beta male.
Can you remind the audience, when you talk about being a beta male and being an alpha male, what are we talking about here?
There are males, most men today.
Yeah.
Male, they think and act like a woman. They are emotional. They are mentally off. They have no logic. And that's a beta male. They go along with homosexuality.
Hold on, whoa, Jesse, we gotta, that's a lot.
LGBTQ.
That's a lot,
They
hold on.
agree with everything that's wrong. Abortion, they think and act just like a woman. A beta male does. But a non-beta male doesn't, because he's a logical thinking. And they're controlled by the darkness of David Pakman. He is a beta male. David Pakman. He is a beta male. The beta male. David Pakman. He is a beta male. David Pakman. He is a beta male. The beta male. David Pakman. He is a beta male. David Pakman. He is a beta male. The beta male. David Pakman. He is a beta male. David Pakman. He is a beta male. The beta male. David, you're not here to communicate. I really appreciate you coming on. I'm going to let you go. It's a waste of time to talk to you. We're not communicating. You're acting like an idiot.
Because you're asking bizarre questions
You're
and not
acting
answering
like an
any of them. idiot,
and you're wasting my time. I appreciate you coming. All right, thank you for coming. Goodbye. Goodbye. Let him know. That's a progressive vote. All men who are progressive, or males who are progressive, are weak people.
If you're thinking about joining the David Pakman Show, he's got a lot of content, don't you know? Search a subject, but don't forget to add his name at the end of the subject. He'll hit you with some facts, empirical at that. And once or twice a week, he'll mention mention about his garden. It's
pretty good garden, yeah, but it's not for everyone.
You should also know that there is a bonus show. Producer Pat will give his take, which is a pretty decent perspective.
Pat knows what he's talking about.
If you're thinking about joining the David Pakman Show, he's got lots of content, don't you know? Search a subject, but don't forget to add